And welcome back to Wednesday, December 13th episode of Born to Talk About Sports. I am your host, Steve Bourne. A lot went on last night in hockey and a bit in basketball. I'll start with my hometown Toronto Maple Leafs here. Big blowout win over the New York Rangers last night in Madison Square Garden, 7-3. Matthews with 4 points. Marner with 2 goal night. And not on the second half of back to back when the Leafs are also battling a bit of a flu bug. So it's a nice statement win over probably at the time the top seed in the East. Some other news around the NHL. Ottawa, another bad effort and the loss to Carolina. Vancouver, big win out west over Tampa Bay. Edmonton, eighth win in a row. It's funny, a healthy McDavid get a couple of saves, and next thing you know, the Oilers are pretty much back 1 point out of a playoff spot after an absolutely horrendous start to the year. Calgary loses in overtime to Vegas, and Winnipeg upset by the San Jose Sharks. But the big news in the NHL last night was the St. Louis Blues fired the only head coach they've ever had that won them a Stanley. Well, that was the coach when they won the Stanley Cup, and that was Graig Berube. Ever since the Blues won the Cup in 2019, they were gone a bit almost the same path as the NBA champions from 2019, the Toronto Raptors. Just a bit of a steady decline to the point where they're just a shell of what they were. Most of the players on that Blues team in 2019 are gone. I think Craig Binnington might be the only significant player left from that team. And I guess GM Doug Armstrong in St. Louis has decided to make a change. They promoted their coach from their AHL affiliate to be their interim the rest of the year, and that's where the Blues are going to go from there after losing I believe it was 6-4 to the Detroit Red Wings last night. It really sounds like the next head coach that's on the hot seat is DJ Smith in Ottawa. Craig Button of TSN is even saying, "Don't be surprised if it happens any day now." Like I said last night, he even said probably the worst period of their season, that second period against Carolina, where they allowed 4 straight goals. So, my followers and watchers in Ottawa, in the Ottawa area, keep an eye on that. DJ Smith, he's been on the chopping block for a while, and they've probably one of the biggest disappointments in the league this year. I know they haven't played a lot of games, but everyone thought Ottawa could take the next step. I personally thought they were, adding a proven veteran and Stanley Cup winner Vladimir Tarasenko, the progression of Brady Tkachuk, um, and progression of Tim Stutzel and guys like that. Jake Sanderson got his new deal, and they're just not good enough. And maybe a coach. I always hate saying. A lot of times, it's a coaching change is done to shake up the players, or just maybe the coach's message is just fallen flat. Because almost every coach has a shelf life. Hell, even who knows how much Sean Cooper has left in Tampa if Tampa continues to decline in the standings. I mean, they're fifth in the Atlantic right now, and only a couple of points up on Montreal. So yeah, look out for a possible head coaching change in Ottawa. The Blues one caught me off guard because I thought Blues aren't that good a team. I don't think they'd make a coaching change this point in the year, anyways. But more shocking things have happened. And just as before I came started recording this, in baseball news, Ken Rosenthal's reporting that the Dodgers are in talks to acquire Manuel Margot and Tyler Glasnow from the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, after the deferred contract with Otani saves a lot of money, and maybe the Dodgers are trying to get Yamamoto and Glasnow, or they think they're out on Yamamoto. So the Dodgers have great young. They're one of the top five to 10 teams depth wise with prospects in the minor league system. So they have the prospects that Tampa will want. Glasnow, his numbers are decent, nothing special. Around 3.5 ERA. Manuel Margot is a hell of a player. Dodgers are obviously going for it. Adding Ohtani, getting Margot and Glasnow. They still have Mookie Betts. They still have Freddie Freeman. Um, Glasnow will help the will help the pitching. Who knows how much left Kershaw has in the tank, because he was pretty. He's decent. He's always been an excellent regular season pitcher, but it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Once the playoffs come in, he almost looks like Alek Manoah from this past season in the playoffs. I mean, it's pretty damn bad. But yeah, and the as far as also baseball free agents, just a minor one, two moves yesterday. Former Blue Jay first baseman, now former Milwaukee first baseman, Rowdy Tellez signs a 1-year deal with Pittsburgh. Fully expect him to get flipped by the trade deadline for a team looking for a bat off the bench. And the San Francisco Giants have signed Korean standout Jung-Ho Lee to a 6-year deal, one for 116. Considering the guy's never played in major leagues, getting 19 a year, not a bad deal. Take it where you can get it. Good for him. Good for his agent. Good for his friends and family. Giants might regret that in a couple of years if he turns out to be one of those guys who's great in Asia and is hitting a solid 215, 220 in the major leagues. Now, with the Giants signing Jung-Ho Lee, a lot of people, including myself, think that they are out on Cody Bellinger. Is Bellinger asking for too much? There's rumors that he's asking for 8 years, 200. I've heard, but after the Ohtani BS from the last week, it's hard to believe anything anymore. When John Paul Morosi says, "Oh, Ohtani's on his way to Toronto," well, that was a bunch of BS. Looks like, and according to the Giants GM, their offer to Ohtani was very similar to what the Dodgers offered, and it sounds like the Jays' offer was very similar as well. And apparently even the Cubs was right around that same ballpark area. And I guess basically it sounds like Ohtani's camp was he always wanted to go to the Dodgers. He just wanted to. He used the other teams. He used the Giants and the Jays to up his value. And hey, he got the money. He'll get it in 10 years, but he got his money. And last night the NBA was a little weird. You had two big ejections of two All-Stars. One was well-deserved, and the other one, not so much. You got the best player in the game, Jokic, in Denver. Looked like he got fouled, no call, whatever. Going the other way, starts chirping at the ref, and out of nowhere, gone. No double tech, just straight ejection. Apparently he said something to him that a lot of people think might have deserved a tech or at least a warning to knock it off, but not an ejection. And these refs are really starting to get thin-skinned, where it gets to the point where you look at them the wrong way and you're going to get tossed. These refs have to learn they're not the show. You're there to enforce the rules, call penalties, call fouls, whatever. You're not there to say, hey, look at me, remember me, you guys are here for me. Major League Baseball umpires are like that. They've gotten better. I remember about 5-6 years ago, you went, oh, come on, man, to the umpire, and you were gone. Now it's gotten a little bit better, but still, these umpires, officials across the sports have to, you got to understand, emotions come into play. The players are not going to be robots and go make a questionable call against them. They're going to go, yep, you're right. Coaches are going to argue back. You have to accept it. Make a call, have the cojones to stand by it. If they call you a name, it just means they're frustrated, they're angry. It doesn't mean that they want to take you out. Then there was the Draymond Green ejection last night. I'm sorry, when you do this to somebody, you're going to get tossed. And considering this guy has basically become the Brad Marchand of the NBA, where he gets a ton of suspensions. Good player, doesn't have to be dirty, but he is. He got 5 games earlier this year for putting his throat on a player for a full backhand that I've seen. That was more stiff than some shots I've seen in the UFC. Wouldn't be surprised. I mean, obviously he got tossed for it. Wouldn't be surprised if the NBA comes really. At least they should. If Adam Silver has any spine, which he shown with the John Morant situation, he doesn't. Um, should give him at least 10 to 15 games. Wouldn't be surprised if it's probably only 6 or 7. But Draymond Green, right now with his suspensions, his activities, the Golden State Warriors, I think their run as an elite team is over. But he's not helping the cause if they want to deal him for futures to help the team. So that's pretty much all the big news that happened yesterday in sports. One side note in the NFL: Chargers overrated quarterback Justin Herbert is going to have surgery on his broken index finger on his throwing hand, so he's done for the year. Chargers are a mess anyways. Coach is probably going to get fired. When Justin Herbert came into the league, everyone said, "Oh, he's already up there with Allen and quarterback and like Hurts and all guys like that." And guy's been to playoffs once and blew a 28-0 lead. So I think we can close the book on Justin Herbert as a quote unquote elite quarterback until he actually does something. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends. I'm doing this daily because I want to get this out there. I want to build the brand, build a Born to Talk About Sports. I'm on Instagram. I'm using the old E8 Twitter handle at E8 Stephen G on Twitter. If you guys want the Twitter account, just message my personal Twitter account at SteveBorn1 or on X, I guess it's called. Like I said, follow me on Facebook. And until next time, stay safe out there and have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.